Good morning and welcome to Quality People. I'm Bernice Barber, and if you are a small business owner or manager in South Africa, I'm here to support you in this sometimes and probably most of the time challenging journey. Let me start with telling you a bit about me. I'm a business consultant, and my main focus is to support small and medium businesses with their people management needs. That may be anything from writing policies, creating leave management and tracking tools, checking to see if your business meets compliance requirements with the Department of Employment and Labour, your workplace discipline needs or performance management, and employment verifications like qualification verifications and criminal checks. I've been an HR practitioner since 1998. Have worked in several industries from mining, retail, insurance, manufacturing, engineering, logistics, and business consulting. I also implement ISO 9001 quality standards into businesses because I understand how this framework supports the performance of a business through the performance of its people. Right, so that said, I will be here on a regular basis using this audio podcast platform to support you as a business owner or manager to gain an understanding of changes in employment laws in South Africa and how that may impact on your particular business. The intention is firstly to bring these changes to your attention, and then secondly, answer as many questions as I could possibly anticipate you have about those changes, with simple guidelines on what to do next, if anything is required at all. This will hopefully save you some time and money, because then you don't need to get advice from an external consultant or take the risk of getting misinformation or incomplete information from AI or search engine searches. So first up, I'd like to share information with you today about employment equity and how a recent amendment that came into effect on the 1st of September 2025 is possibly a benefit to you in your small business. And yes, I used the word benefit, which I know is not often the case when it comes to legislation. But before you get excited, let's unpack it a little bit first. Small business in the context of South African employment laws would be any business that employs from 1 to 49 employees. In previous versions of this legislation, a business of this size, which had an annual turnover from 10 million rand per annum or more, would have been considered a designated employer and would have had to submit an employment equity report annually. This report would give the department information on your employee profiles, details of their gender, race group, and disability status. There would also be an annual workplace skills plan in which your business would declare its intentions to improve the skills of its workforce, and the department would then measure how well you stuck to that plan when you submit your annual reports. The most recent amendment, which has now come into effect, to this piece of legislation has reset the requirements for small employers by removing the requirements to be registered and to report annually on the business employment equity profile and status if you are a small business of less than 50 employees and regardless of your turnover annually. But before you get excited about that, there is more to consider before you rush over to the Department of Employment Labour and website and start the deregistration process. Here it is. If you as a business rely on your company's BBBE status, for example, to be competitive in the industry you are in, or you are a supplier to the state, you are still going to need and remain registered for employment equity so that you can be issued with a certificate of compliance going forward from the Department of Employment and Labour. The three criteria that would have to be satisfied before the certificate of compliance is issued to you are, number one, You've submitted your annual employment equity reports to the Department of Employment and Labour. Number 2, you've met the employment equity targets for your business during the assessed period. And I stress number 3, there needs to be no CCMA awards against your business during the 12-month assessment period for unfair discriminations. Now, just to clarify, a CCMA process can result in one of two things: either a settlement award, which is a negotiated settlement between the parties. It is issued without prejudice, and that means it does not become a matter of public record. The CCMA award they're referring to here is where you've gone through the arbitration process and the commissioner, who was hearing both sides of that story, then issues an award, either for or against the employer, saying, yes, you have been found to be guilty of unfair discrimination against the parties who referred this matter. So just to clarify that. Only when all 3 of these criteria are met will you receive the Certificate of Compliance from the Department of Employment and Labour and be able to use this in pursuit of business with the state or business entities that may require it from you as a supplier going forward. This legislation came into effect, as I said, on the 1st of September 2025. So if this is going to impact on your business, you will probably need to get advice and assistance from an expert in this field to map out a plan for your business going forward. If your business does not do business with the state or with clients who have this as a supplier criteria for you to do business with them, and you have no intention of doing business with these entities going forward, then you could possibly consider deregistering from the Department of Employment and Labour for the purposes of employment equity. If you're still not sure if this amended legislation impacts on your business, I recommend then that you do get advice from someone who holds the expertise in this field. You're welcome to send me a message if you'd like a recommendation for this type of support. It's not the type of consulting that I do in my business, but I do have trusted associates in my HR network that I would happily refer you to with confidence for this purpose. If you've got any questions about this particular content today, or you have suggestions about any other topics that we could chat about in the future, please pop these into the comments below and stay tuned for more. I hope that this audio clip of less than 10 minutes has set you up with more information and given you a sense of knowing that there's something you need to do or something you don't need to do. Let's chat. Come back for more. See you soon.